for another player, and that was Benjamin Becker, who provided the opposition. Federer didn't see that one, but we're told Federer a little rusty, but managing to come through without too much bother. It's a Basel double tonight, because Marco Cudinelli will follow this one as well in his match with Richard Gasquet. So the locals have never had it so good. It will be the master, though, to begin the evening's play.
It's one of the problems when you come in cross court, even when you've got a Federer forehand, not enough width there. And a good player will make you pay more often than not. Good balance from Bellucci, that's key. He's a big boy, is Thomas. Every bit of 6'2". Probably closer to 6'3", I would say. Well proportioned athlete. He's got the long muscles, they're not too squat, which is what you want as a tennis player.
I had a relationship, didn't he? A coaching relationship with Larry Passos for a little while. 4 years ago. That's ended now, though. Of course, Passos was behind Gustavo Kuerten, Brazilian's finest as far as tennis is concerned.
Yeah, now works with Daniel Orsanic. That's Bellucci. Beautiful combination of shots. Federer does well to dig it out nice and deep. It's a perfect pass, that one bouncing right where the service line meets the tram line. It's a good spot to aim for.
Federer just taking a little bit off the first serve. Stunning. Right from the off. Federer with a peach of a forehand. And that's what they've come to see. It's a heavy sort of ball that Bellucci offers, isn't it, Rob?
It is very heavy. Of course, grown up playing most of his tennis on a clay court. That's where he's had the most success initially in his career as Bellucci, but there's no reason why his game wouldn't transfer well onto a hard court. And Daniel said to me that a couple of things that they are working on, trying to play a little close to the baseline, more up the court, and trying to add that dimension of being able to finish points off at the net. Essential for success when you're playing on a hard court surface. One of my favorite camera angles for watching tennis, as we have a quick look there at Roger's mom, Lynette. Call that camera 2 position, nice and low down to the court. You can see exactly what the trajectory of the ball is doing.
Playing 16th event of 2012, Federer, plus 2 Davis Cup weekends thrown in there as well. Compare that to last year, where he played in 16 in all. A couple more this year. And in fact, Federer's already committed to play Rotterdam next year as well. That's the event that is looked after by Richard Krajcek.
He's made it. What Bellucci did well there was once he got Federer on the move, he kept him on the move. Didn't go back to the same place. Inch perfect, that one. Federer taking a good, long, hard look at it. Perhaps thought about challenging it for a split second. But, that's how good it's got to be against Federer, especially indoors.
Just got away from him. Again, trying to find the Federer backhand. And straight off the bat here, Federer finds himself with just a half a chance. Bellucci was just desperate for that ball to drift long, and it didn't, and Federer got himself back in the rally, and it's the early break for the top seed.
Like we so often speak about his attacking options and how well he attacks, but look at the defensive skills he displays here. Brilliant, just slicing and dicing to get himself back into the rally, and then once he's a bit more settled, he starts to go for it. Beautiful pattern of play, one that Federer uses so often, that serve out wide on the deuce court. And of course, so quick to use his forehand thereafter. Federer indoors, career win-loss record, 217 wins, just 52 losses. Guy like Andy Murray's 89 wins only. You know how good Andy is indoors. Let's have a look at some of the other current players. Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, just 75. He's not bad indoors either. Federer's not bad indoors either.
Pretty good. In fact, Robbie mentioned the quiz question. Here's one for you. The last player to beat Federer at an ATP Tour event indoors was who? An ATP Tour event indoors.
Now let us know. At Rob Koenig Tennis is my Twitter.
And at Nick Lester. Drop us a line. It was a little while ago, I can tell you. Federer off to a fast start here. 3-0. And he was born in this very city, in the hospital just down the road, the Basel Cantonal Hospital, and was then married in this very city as well, was Federer, a couple of years ago. Married at the Basel Registry Office, I was reading, in 2009. You obviously weren't on the invitation list.
I was.
You were transiting between Miami and Monte Carlo that week, were you?
Chose to stay with my family that week.
Okay.
Of course, we mentioned 217 wins indoors for Federer. A guy like Boris Becker, 297. Jimmy Connors had the most wins, 460. But the best win-loss percentage belongs to John McEnroe, top of the pile. 419 wins indoors, just 72 losses for J-Mac. Forget how many great records John has got. Of course, played a lot of singles and doubles at the time. Incredible doubles player as well, so he was out there long and hard. Of a current crop of players, somebody who's close would be a guy like Yevgeny Kofalnikov, 235 wins for Yevi. He used to play a lot more tournaments than Federer. And I think it's important to keep those numbers in perspective, because Federer doesn't play nearly as much as some of those guys we mentioned. A guy like Kofalnikov used to play the entire indoor season, 5-6 events at least. And at the beginning of the year, a lot of those events as well indoors. And that's why that win-loss percentage is the important number to look at.
Federer rushing him again. Has there ever been a player who's taken the ball quite so early, so consistently as Federer, seemingly as he gets older as well? His ability just to suffocate you with his game is breathtaking, really. Oh, Bellucci read it. He had to. He was waiting.
Well, in response to your trivia question, Nick, a lot of people are mentioning World Tour finals, but that's not a regular tour event, is it?
No, that's not the right answer anyway, is it? I'm pretty sure it's not, unless we've tripped ourselves up. Answer coming up, folks. Now the answer to the question, the last man to beat Federer at a regular ATP Tour event indoors was actually Gaël Monfils back in Bercy 2010, and the final, or was it the semi-final that year, certainly deep in the tournament.
I like the fact that Dan Stern has put in the score as well as the year. So. Oh, it's a nice shot from Bellucci. Saw Federer trying to sneak in. N1 Loon also mentioned that Federer did have match points but lost. I think I remember that. Roger had match points there.
Yeah, Igor Pushkin with the right answer. tremendous athleticism, because the attempt at the pass was mighty good.
Well, I'll tell you what, Federer's portfolio of great shots is thicker than most. But that one certainly would make it, in my opinion. Such dynamic balance.
And he moves further in front of his home fans for another year here. 4-1.
Oh, Mom's keeping an eye on things. I'm sure we'll see Rob around, Rob and Lynette. We were asking you, of course, about that question. Nick was talking about the regular tour events as far as the last person to beat Federer. Maybe just take it slightly different angle on it. And we'll ask you, who was the last person to beat him at any sort of event indoors, as far as Federer is concerned? Who was the last player to accomplish that feat? Any event. And again, let us know at Rob Koenig Tennis or at Nick Lester, who was the last person to beat Federer indoors anyway.
Loves that serve, doesn't he? We first saw that. I remember seeing that serve a lot when he had his run in Madrid a couple of years ago, Rob. He used that to great effect, didn't he, on the deuce side, that kicker out wide.
Yeah, look at this. Look how short that is. That's an incredible serve. Only other guy I remember hitting that serve so consistently well was Wayne Arthurs. What a serve the lefty had. Incredible. Especially that kicker. So slow, but you could never catch up to it because of the amount of spin that he imparted on the ball with such a loose wrist.
Gasp from the crowd.
Bellucci.
So Bellucci reduces the deficit here, stays alive in this first set, just about. Big couple of years coming up for his country, of course. World Cup on the horizon, Olympic Games in a few years' time as well. Lots to prep for. Talk about a new event down there as well on the ATP Tour, looking to tap into the South American market. Of course, they have that swing in February, but there's 3 weeks. But
15.
Of course, in answer to that second trivia question, some of you are just on the ball. D Stern 127 again, saying it's too easy. We also got guy throwing in a doubles result. Does that count?
It's too good.
It is too good. It's just thinking well ahead of us. Of course, he lost to John Isner in Davis Cup indoors on clay, did Federer. That was the answer we were looking for.
5-2 in this opening set. Full house inside the St Jakobshalle, some 9,000 plus tickets sold for this evening's session. Largely to see the great man. Took us South America. In fact, Federer will be going to South America in the off-season, doing a couple of exhibitions down there. It's a busy exhibition period, late November, early December. See, Novak Djokovic has just announced a new one. He'll be taking on Martin Klizan in Bratislava. There's quite a few out there. How do you sit with that when players ask for a longer off-season and they go and play their exos? Is that okay? Well, it's a fair question, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Bellucci.
It's about having your cake and eating it, isn't it? I think some meetings coming up in Paris will decide the calendar for 2014, and I think that's going to be condensed even more, which is good. But I think it's also nice to give players who aren't as good as, say, the top 4 to play 11 months of the year.
I think some quite serious talk as Federer challenges here about Bercy possibly moving to February. I've heard that quite a few times. Would kind of make sense, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was sublime. A little pause there. Just froze Bellucci.
15 all. Federer has 2 challenges remaining.
What that does is it interrupts the split step. Bellucci split steps too early, and then Federer hasn't made a swing. And of course, as a result of that, it's going to affect his push-off and his movement to the next shot, and that's why he was late getting there.
It's too much. Trying to work the ball high and heavy to Federer's single-hander. It's not necessarily a surface that's conducive to be able to do that on here as well. Not going to really get a great deal out of it. Well, to cover a lot of ground, Federer, didn't he? Going from really one side of the court to the other, and you can see where he is here. Doesn't really get that first step particularly quickly, does he?
Yeah, just kind of, you wanted to see initially how good the forehand was before he came in, and he just delayed it a little too long. Tough to hit a winning volley from that deep in the court.
And now he's got a bit of trouble.
30-14.
Error off the forehand side. And Bellucci has his first break point of the evening. Oh, super point. Federer dealing really well with the low sort of squash shot that came at him.
Yeah, you've got to have plenty of racket head speed to negate that slice. And we know Federer's got that in abundance. So I think Bellucci will be disappointed he didn't make Federer hit at least one volley there.
Advantage Bellucci.
But he gets another go. There's the Brazilian.
Understand the annoyance and frustration.
Well, because of the nature of his grips on that forehand, and so often it helps him because of the amount of work he's able to get on the ball, but occasionally he can just, like that, mistime it.
Just watch how he waits for the ball to come to him versus Federer, who really goes after the ball and attacks it. A subtle difference, but a very important one.
Such a casual first volley. But the second one very simple. And to come in here and watch Federer is a joy for many, but you've got to be quick because he often doesn't hang around. It's a 31-minute first set here in the St. Jakobshalle, and it's gone the way of the defending champion. 6-3.
16-3.
A pretty solid performance from Roger. I think Bellucci would be disappointed that he didn't make more of those looks that he got at the tail end of the set. The missed return and the backhand passing shot where he didn't make Federer hit an extra volley will worry his conscience, but tough to reel in Federer when he's on a roll. Once he's got the first set behind him, well, he's almost impenetrable. Served pretty well. The effectiveness of that first serve clear to see for both guys, but